Welcome along to the second part of our video series where we are creating a 4-page website for Isuzu Ute Australia. In the first part of our tutorial we put all the HTML together to set up 4 different web pages. We did manage to link them together, so that was our home page. We had our DMAX page, whoops, didn't scroll too well then, and we've got the MUX page, and finally we had a contact page. Okay, they are very ugly looking pages because we haven't styled them up yet. That's what we're going to do in this tutorial. But all the HTML is there. Okay, so let's start styling up these pages. We're going to do things a little bit different to what we've done in the past. Now, if I just go back to my code here in brackets, hopefully you've still got your 4 HTML files open. On the index page, what we've done in the past is in the head section, we've styled up our web pages. Okay, and that's fine, and that's all well and good for single web pages. But what we've got here are 4 pages that make up our website, and they're all going to look pretty similar. So instead of writing that styling out, so the CSS, 4 different times, we're just going to write it out once. And we're going to apply that to all 4 pages in one hit. So all 4 pages get styled up in one go. Okay, it's a lot quicker than writing it out one by one. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new document. Okay, so instead of putting our style tags on each of those 4 pages, we're just going to put them straight into this new document. So before we start typing, we're going to go up to File and Save As. And you need to find where you saved those other 4 pages. It's in my Isuzu website folder. There they are. And I'm going to call this document style.css. Okay, so we're going to have the extension .css on our file name this time, so not HTML, it's .css. When you click Save, you've now created what we call a style sheet. Alrighty, so this is where we're going to put all our styling for our website. So the first thing I would like to style up in my web page, if I have a look at it, is the background color. Okay, I want to turn it to black. So over in brackets on my style.css worksheet here, on my first line I'm just going to write in the HTML tag. Go to the next line and open up my curly braces like I usually would inside my style tags. And I'm just going to write in background, and I'm going to choose black and put a semicolon after it to close that section of code off. Now I'm going to save that. If I go and preview my web page, nothing's happened. Okay, and the reason is because we haven't linked our pages up to this style sheet yet. So the way we do that is we go back to our index page here, and up in the head section we're going to add in a link to that style sheet. Okay, so go after the word title there. We're going to go down to the next line, and we're going to put in this code. Open up a pointy bracket and write the word link, space, and write rel equals, and then in quotation marks write style sheet. That's all one word. Okay. After that we're going to write in the word type equals, and then in quotation marks write text-css, and finally we're going to do href, and we're going to point to that style sheet. Okay, so I know it's saved in my account, and there it is there, style.css, and I can close my pointy brackets off. So this line of code that we just typed in is basically saying we're using a style sheet to style up our web page. Okay, it's a CSS document, that's its type. And href basically says where can I find that style sheet, so it's called style.css. Alright, now if I save this index page and go and preview it, we should have a black background. Do I need to refresh it? I do need to refresh it. There we go. Okay, so obviously our text has gone missing because our text is black, but we got that black background working. Alrighty, so I'm going to copy that piece of code now that we just put in. So Control C to copy, and I'm going to go and dump it on the other 3 pages. Okay, so on the DMAX page, straight after the title, press Control V to paste in that line of code. Save your page, go and do the same on MUX, paste it in and save it, and same for contact. Paste it in and save it. Alrighty, so now if I preview those 4 pages, I'm just going to open up Live Preview so I don't have to keep refreshing it. You'll see the black background across all 4 pages now. Okay, so we're off to a good start. Back in brackets, I'm going to go back to my style sheet, and I'm going to add in some more styling. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to style up is the body section. So this is the main part of our website. So I'm going to write in the word body and open up my curly braces. And it's basically what we usually do. We're going to change the font family first of all to sans serif. Put a semicolon at the end. We'll change the font size to 1 EM. And we'll change the line height to 1.5 EM. Okay, we'll save that. Now you're not going to see much difference just yet because the text is all black still. You can just see it in the menu that it's slightly changed, but you can't see much else just yet. Okay, so we'll keep rolling. Next thing I'm going to do, if we just go back to the index page here, next thing I want to style up is the image, so that banner that runs across the page here. I want it to fill the entire width of our page. Okay, and I want that across every image that's in my website. So we've got 3 pictures we can style up in one hit now. So back in the style sheet, I'm simply going to write in the image tag, so IMG, open up my curly braces and tell it that I want the width to be 100% of the page, and I'll put a semicolon at the end. When I save that and go and preview it, my image now fills up the entire width of the page. That's the MUX page. If I check DMAX, it's also done it to that page, and on the home page it's done it to that as well. So you can see how quick just using this style sheet is. Okay, instead of writing it 3 different times on 3 different pages, we just had to write it once here, and all 3 pages got styled up in one go. Alright, so back on my index page, let's have a look. Something else we can style up. This video, instead of having it left aligned, I might push it over into the center of the page. Okay, so if I look in my index, I can find my video inside the section tags. So I'm going to style up my section tags next. So I'm just going to write in the word section on my style sheet, open up my curly braces, and write in text, align, center. Okay, it's a weird way to do it, but if our text alignment is centered, our video should center on the page as well, which it has. Okay, that's looking good. Next thing we're going to do is bring our heading back. If I highlight across the top here, I'm pretty sure we've got a heading hiding under there. Well, you can't see it, but we will in a moment. We've got a H1 heading that says Isuzu Ute Australia from memory. So on the index page, there it is, our H1 heading. It says Isuzu Ute Australia at the top of the page. So let's style that up so we can see it again. First of all, we need to write in H1 tag, open up the curly braces. First thing I'm going to do is put that text in the center of the page. So text align, center. Next thing I'm going to do is change its color. Now I'm going to use a hashtag or a hexadecimal code for this. I'm going to write FFD88E. Do a semicolon. You can choose whatever color you want, but that's basically a lightish yellowy orange color. Okay, you can see the example there. If I save that now, you should be able to see my nice big H1 heading at the top of each page. Okay, looking good. A few more things I might do to that H1 heading. First one is I want it all in capital letters, so I'm going to do a text transform option and choose the uppercase feature there. That's just going to put all the letters into uppercase, so it's all in capitals. If we have a look at that, looks good. I might give it a bit more space from the top of the page as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just write in padding dash top and give it 20 pixels of padding from the top of the page and save that. That's our H1 section all styled up now, so as you can see it just drops down a bit from the top of the page. That's looking quite good, and that's across every page now. Okay, so instead of styling that up 4 different times in our HTML documents, so much easier just to write it once in the style sheet. Right, moving on, we might style up the next header, which is the H2 headers. Okay, what we're going to do to those is basically change the color to red, and we're going to put them in uppercase as well. So use the text dash transform feature and put it into uppercase. Okay, so our H2 headings now should be coloured in red and transformed into uppercase. I'll just save that and we should be able to see it on our contact page. There it is there. And on our other MUX and DMAX pages we also have H2 headings just there. Alright, so they're looking good. Let's keep rolling. What else have we got? We've got H3 headings in there somewhere. I think it was on the contact page. So let's style up the H3 headings now as well. What we're going to do to them is stick them in the center of the page. So text align will be center. And we're also going to put them into uppercase. So we'll text transform and choose uppercase. That's all we wanted to do for the H3 headings. Okay, so I'll save that. We won't be able to see them at the moment because we're not changing their color, so they're still going to be black, so we won't worry about previewing the H3 headings just yet. Alright, so we can see that text. What we're going to need to do, if I just go back, just go back to my index page, we need to style up this article section. Okay, it takes up a good chunk of our page, and basically all that text there is black, and so is our background. So we want to put in a bit of a white, I guess, rectangle behind this text so we can read it. Okay, so, whoops, back in my style sheet, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. Below the H3 section, let's style up our article section. So write in article and open up your curly braces, and let's change that background color there to white. So write in background and choose white. If you save that now, hopefully, when we scroll down, you're able to see the text. Okay, you can see this big white rectangle. That's our article section. And that should have happened across each page. So as we go through, you've got this white section now where you can read the text. That's a lot nicer. Alrighty, so back in brackets now, we'll keep styling up that article section. A couple other things that we might do to it. One of them, if I just go back to the preview, you can see the text is hugging the edge of the page. Okay, you might notice it a bit more back on the home page here. Yeah, you can see it's really hugging the boundary of that white box. So we're going to give it a bit of padding so it just moves in a bit from the edge of the page. So I'm going to write in padding, and I'm going to give it somewhere between 15 and 20 pixels. So I'll go about halfway, 17 pixels of padding. If I save that now, you can see you've got a bit of a white space around the edge of our text and the edge of that white box. Okay, so it doesn't look as cramped up anymore. There's a little bit too much padding at the top here, I think, so a bit more white space than we need. So to get rid of that, you just need to change the padding at the top. So still in the article style tag, we're just going to write in padding dash top. And we're going to overwrite what we did before. We're just going to change it, I guess 5 pixels of padding instead. If we save that, you'll see now that there's not quite as much room at the top of the page just here. Okay, so I've just moved our text up a little bit in that white box. So that's looking a lot nicer, a lot easier to read. I'm really liking the looks of that. Next thing we might do down the bottom is style up our footer. That's the little copyright statement at the bottom. Okay, so if I scroll down, obviously can't see it below the video there. So let's style up our footer so we can see that. So underneath the article tags, let's put in the footer style tag, open up our curly braces, and we'll style up our footer. First thing I'm going to do is align it in the center of the page. After that, we'll change the color to white. Okay, we'll save that and just have a look and make sure we can see it now. There we go, that's a bit better. So by changing the color to white, it's changed the text color, and we can easily see our copyright statement at the bottom of our page. We're not finished there. Usually that's a little bit smaller than the text on the page, on the main body section of the page. So let's make that footer a little bit smaller. So we're going to go font dash size. I'm going to make it 0.75 EM. So it's about 3/4 of the size of our usual font. I'm also going to change the font dash, whoops, not stretch, we want font dash style. And I'm going to choose italic. So that'll just put a bit of a slant to our text. And the last thing is just a bit of padding at the top. Okay, it's hugging that video a little bit too much for my liking, so padding top, and just give it about 5 pixels worth of padding. So that section there will style up our footer, but basically be centered, white, in italics, and a little bit smaller. You can see it's got a little bit of room to breathe now between the copyright statement and the video. Alright, so this home page is looking quite good at the moment. Top part's still a little bit dodgy where we've got the menu bar, but we'll fix that in a sec. But the rest of the page, looking very nice. If we go across to the DMAX and MUX pages, they're looking pretty good. Okay, got a little bit of work to do down here still, but so far so good. We'll have a look at contact. How's it going? Yeah, it's getting there. This table's still a bit of a mess, but we will fix that up shortly. Alright, so back over to our style sheet. Let's keep styling. Next on our list is probably going to be the menu bar that we need to style up, because at the moment it's looking pretty ugly. Okay, we just got 4 purple links. We need to fix that up. Alright, so back in our style sheet, I might go to the index page quickly and show you what we need to style up. This nav section is what we're looking at. Okay, our nav bar is basically an unordered list. That means bullet points, just the little circle bullet points. Alright. The issue we've got though is that not only is our menu bar styled up as an unordered list, if you go to the DMAX page and the MUX page, we've got unordered lists down further as well. So if we try and style up the menu bar, whatever effects we put on this, they're going to be repeated down further here on these list items as well. If we look on the contact page, scrolling down, we've got an unordered list down there as well. Okay, so whatever styling we put on our menu bar, it's going to appear on these lists as well. So we're going to need to use a class name on our menu bar so we can just style up this unordered list and not affect the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to go to my index page. This might be a little bit confusing, but bear with me, you'll see what happens. On your index page, find your nav section and find that unordered list. Okay, inside those UL tags, we're going to look for the opening one. We're going to put a space after the UL, and we're going to give it a class name. So write class equals, and in quotation marks, just write the word menu. So what we've done is we made this unordered list have a unique name called menu, and it's just going to affect this top unordered list. Okay, I'm just going to save the index page there, and I'm going to go across to my style sheet, and I'm going to style up just that little section. And the way I'll do that is write in that class name menu. So we write dot, always start with a full stop when we're working with class names, and we write in dot menu. And then we can open up our curly braces and basically style it up like we usually do. Alright, so some changes we need to make to this menu. First of all, list-style-type needs to be set to none. Okay, I think that basically gets rid of the bullet points, so it hasn't got a style at all. I'm going to set the margin to 0. Oops, don't forget the semicolon after these. After the margin, we're going to put overflow as hidden, and we're also going to put some padding beneath this. So change the padding dash bottom to 5 pixels. Okay, that's all we're going to style up for the dot menu class at the minute. Okay, we're not finished yet. If I save that and go and preview it, you're not going to see any changes just yet. It's the next set of styling that's really going to affect it. Okay, so back in my index page, you'll also notice that we've got some A tags, which are link tags. What we're going to do is style up the hyperlinks now. Now this is going to affect not only our menu bar, but also the links on the DMAX page, which appear at the bottom. Okay, we're going to fix that later on. Okay, you'll notice on the MUX page as well, there is an A tag where we've got a hyperlink. They're about to be styled up the same way our menu bar is going to be styled up, but that's okay for now. Okay, so back in the style sheet, let's add in another style tag. Got a lot of these. And what we're going to do is style up the A tag. And we're going to style it up in 2 ways. The first one is A, and I want you to write a colon and write the word link. Then put a comma and write the A tag again with a colon and write visited. There's different types of hyperlinks, and 2 types we're styling up here is just a normal link, how it appears when you first see it on your page, and we're also styling up a visited link, and that means once you've already clicked on that link, what do you want it to look like? You'll probably notice in simple web pages that normal hyperlinks are blue, and once you click on that link it'll change to a purple color. Okay, and that's what's happening at the moment, but we want to style it up a bit differently to that. So we're going to style up normal links and visited links, or links we've already visited. We're going to do quite a bit of styling. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is change the display to block. If we save that and have a look, you can see we've got these big blocks now. They're like big long buttons. That's the first step. Okay. After that, we're going to change the width of those blocks, or width of those buttons, to 120 pixels each. If we save that now and have a look in the preview window, you'll see that we've got 4 little buttons. It's starting to look a bit more like a menu bar. Okay. After that, we're going to change the font weight to be bold. That's pretty self-explanatory, so we won't preview that yet. The colour to white. Remember, colour just changes the text colour. So if we go back now, you'll see that we've got bold buttons with white text. Not looking pretty by any means, but we're getting there. Let's keep going. Below the colour, we're going to change the background colour. So just change background, and we're going to set it to black, which it basically already is. That looks good. The text align to centre. So that should centre the text in each side of those, inside of those buttons. That's how we're looking at the moment. It's starting to look a bit more like buttons with each change we make. We're going to put some padding around these buttons. I think the text is hugging the edge of those buttons quite a bit, so we're going to put 4 pixels padding around the outside of each button. You can see now I've got a bit of space around that text, 4 pixels to be exact. Text decoration is the next one, and we're going to select none. You'll notice that gets rid of the underline, I think. Yeah, so that gets rid of the underline from our text. Still going, text transform. We're going to put it in uppercase again, so you should be used to text transform now and choosing uppercase. That will just change our font into capital letters. And last thing I'm going to do is just change the float option here to left. That'll just push our menu bar to the left hand side of the page. If we save it now and have a look, it's getting there. Alright, so just want to double check we've got everything right here. We've got the display set to block, the width to 120, our font weight's bold, our colour's white, background colour's black, text align will be centre, padding's 4 pixels, text decoration is none, text transform uppercase, and float is equal to left. Alright, we're looking good so far. So we're kind of getting a menu bar into place. Okay, we're still not quite there. So we'll keep rolling. Next thing we're going to do to our links. Okay, we're going to go outside the curly braces and we're going to add in an A tag again. We're going to style up even more types of links. The next type of link we're going to put in, so A : is hover. Okay, and then we're going to put a comma and write A : active. So the other 2 types of hyperlinks you can get are hovers. So when you hover over the top of a link, you can actually make it change colour. So it's like a rollover effect. And the other one is an active link. So that means if you're actually pushing your mouse down on top of the link at the time, it's active and it means you're about to click on it. Okay, so what do we want to do when we're hovering over a link or actually clicking on a link? We want to do a few things. Okay, first one, colour. Actually, there's only one thing I think we want to do, just change the colour. So I'm going to go for a hexadecimal code on this one, so I'll do hashtag FF5C5C. If you hover over that, you'll see it's this kind of reddish colour for our hover effect. So I'm going to save that and preview it, and you should see now when I hover over these, they're going to be changing colour. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So let's look at Dmax, MUX, and contact. Alright, so far so good. The only page that's working properly is our home page. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Back in our code here, on the index page, we gave this unordered list a class name called menu. Okay, what we need to do is copy that piece of code, because what we're going to do is go to the Dmax page now and do the same thing. You'll notice at the top the unordered list doesn't have a class name, so it's not receiving this little bit of styling here. And that's why we're getting this kind of step ladder effect. As soon as we give it the class name, so on the Dmax page, find that nav bar and in the unordered list there, just paste in the class name there equaling menu and save it, and you should see that menu bar fix itself. So the home page looks good, Dmax looks good. Let's do the MUX page now. So on the MUX page, grab your unordered list inside your nav bar, give it the class name of menu. Okay, save it, go to the contact page, do the same thing. Okay, remember Control S will do the quick save. So if we preview it now, our menu bar should be looking pretty good. Contact page works, MUX page works, DMAX and home. Okay, got the rollover effect working nicely as well. So that's coming together really well. I guess the next thing we need to really work on is this contact page. Looking very ugly at the moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is fix this table up. So you can see on the contact page we've got this table section here. It's quite a big one. It's got all the contact details in it. If I scroll down, you can see all this stuff is coming inside the table. So we're going to style that up first. Okay, so back to our style sheet. We're going to write in the word table and open up our curly braces. We're going to get that table to fill up 100% width of the page. So just set your width there to 100% and put a semicolon at the end. The other thing I want you to do quickly is change the table layout and select fixed. When you save that and preview it, you're going to see a table that basically fills up the whole page. Okay, and it's evenly spread out those columns. Alright, so we're off to a good start there. Next thing I'm going to do is style up the TD tags. Okay, it's the table data. So everything inside the table comes inside TD tags. So what we're going to do there is vertical align it to the top. I'm not going to save it yet. Basically, just did it for me. Moved all the text to the top of each of these columns. Okay, you might have noticed before this available at the dealership was actually down a bit lower, but now with this vertical align top, it's pushed all the text to the top of each column. So it makes it look a lot neater. Alright, the other thing I want to do is just put a bit of padding in. So I'm just going to write in padding. Now I'm going to do all sides here in one hit. So I'm going to do 10 pixels of padding and do 0 pixels of padding and then 0 pixels of padding and 50 pixels of padding and do a semicolon. When you save that, you can go and preview it, and basically we put some padding around each side of these columns. Okay, a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, and some around the sides as well. Alright, you might have noticed too over here we've got an issue with our hyperlink. Remember, at the moment our hyperlinks are all styled up the same. So at the moment our menu bar is styled up, and so is our other hyperlinks, our email link here, and if we look at the MUX and DMAX pages, the little click here hyperlinks are styled up like a menu bar as well, but we'll fix that shortly. Okay, still on this contact page, let's get this Google map to stretch all the way out across our page and make it a little bit bigger. So in our code, that Google map comes inside a tag called IFrame. Okay, something a little bit different. So let's style up the IFrame tag. So we just go back to our style sheet and write in IFrame. Open up our curly braces. And inside IFrame, we're going to set the border to 0. And we're also going to set the width to 100% of the page. The other thing I want to do is just change the height. I want to set the height to a fixed height of 350 pixels. So it's a fairly skinny picture. It's wide, but it's not too tall. So it's not going to take up too much of the page. So that's what we need there to style up our Google map. And if we save that now, you'll see you've got a map that stretches 100% width of the page. It's 350 pixels in height, and it's got no border on it. Okay, and you should be able to click on this and move it around. You should be able to zoom in and out as well. Okay, so that's looking good. One of the last things we're going to fix up now is that hyperlink issue. Okay, so down here. Okay, if we go to DMAX over here as well, you can see it down there, and it's the same on the MUX page. So we need to fix this hyperlink up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to our DMAX page first of all and find where that hyperlink is. Okay, it should be down the bottom inside these P tags. You'll see the ahref here. Okay. You might remember, if we just want to style up one section and not affect other sections, you need to use this class name. Okay, it needs to be a unique name. So we've called that class menu up there, and that's just allowed us to style up that unordered list and not affect any others. What we want to do this time, if I scroll back down and find this hyperlink, we want to style up this A tag, but no others. We don't want to touch these A tags up here. We just want to leave them how they are. We just want to style up this single A tag. So what we need to do is click next to that A and put a space and give it a class name again. So class equals, and you can think of any name you want. I'm just going to call it Hyperlink. Okay, so we've called our hyperlink down here with a class name Hyperlink. Pretty straightforward. Now what we can do once we save that is go to our style sheet, and down the bottom we're going to write dot hyperlink, and that's going to allow us to style up that single class. Okay, so put in your curly braces, and what we're going to do inside that hyperlink, we've got a fair bit to do. We're basically going to make it look like it originally was, so with a white background, blue text, and a bit of an underline on it to make it look like an actual hyperlink you can click on. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the display back to not inherit, we want inline. Did that work? Yeah, that's fine. After that, we're going to put the font weight back to what it was at 100. That's basically the original font weight. The color, we want this hyperlink, we want it to be blue. Most people recognize a hyperlink as a blue color, so we'll stick with that. The background color, basically we want it back to white, same color as our page. After background color, we want to put in some padding and basically change it back to what it was at 0 pixels. Text decoration, we want it to be underlined again. Okay, most hyperlinks have an underline, so we'll put that back in. We want to change the text transform. Okay, at the moment it's in uppercase, we're just going to say none, and that will just turn uppercase off. And we'll change the float setting to none as well. So that's a fair bit of styling just to change our hyperlink back to the way it was, so it doesn't look like a button anymore. So if I save that hyperlink class, which is down here, should be styled up now to look normal. So if we have a look, this is the Dmax page. I might need to save. Yeah, I've saved that. Sorry, I didn't save it before. I'm back in our style. Just need to save that as well. I just realized we also need to put an A before that dot hyperlink, because we are styling up the A tag. It's just got that unique name called hyperlink. So put A dot hyperlink, then save it, then test it. Okay, and you can see it's working down here now. Okay, it looks like it originally did. We just took all that formatting off that made it look like one of these buttons and made it look like a normal hyperlink. Now if we go to the MUX page, you'll see that it still looks like one of those buttons, and that's because we haven't given it a class name yet. So back to your code, off to the MUX page, scroll down and find that hyperlink, and simply next to that letter A, put in a space and write class equals, and call it the same name. It's hyperlink. Save that, test it, and you can see it's working now. Finally, on the contact page, you'll notice that our email link down the bottom here looks quite ugly. It still looks like a button. So let's fix it on our contact page. Go down. Here it is here. You can see the A and the href section. So next to that letter A, put a space and write class equals, change it to hyperlink. Okay, save that. And now we've got a working email link that looks like it originally did. So we're looking good. We're down to the last bit now. Okay, if I'm just going to go back to the Dmax page here, I'll show you what we're going to change. Basically, down in this section we've got bullet points. I want these little headings to stand out where it says 5-star safety, go to where you want, 3.5 ton towing, and go further, spend less. I want that to stand out, okay, from the rest of the text. And the way we do that, I'm going to go back, where are we, to my code, onto the Dmax page, and find these list items. Here they are here, 4 list items. Next to that LI tag on the first paragraph, where it says go further, what I'm going to get you to do is add in a little tag called span. Okay, highlight the closing span tag and just Control X to cut it out, and I want you to put that span after go further, spend less, and then put it in. So you can see we've got a span tag that goes around go further, spend less, and then we close it off. That section there, we're going to style up. Okay, so I'll save that Dmax page and go over to my style sheet. And we're simply going to put in the span tag. Okay, it allows us just to edit something halfway through a sentence basically, so we don't affect the whole sentence, just a part of it. Alright, so inside the span tag, all we want to do to it is change its color to red. We want to change its font size, just slightly bigger than what it is now, so we'll go 1.15 EM, put a semicolon, and we'll put it in uppercase letters, so do the text transform option again and stick it in uppercase. Alright, so that little section there will allow us to have basically little subheadings within our body text. So if I save that now and go to my DMAX page, you can see this stands out just a little bit more and helps us realize that that is a little subheading. So we need to put those span tags in around these other subheadings. Alright, so it's a copy and paste job. Back to the DMAX page, we're going to copy that opening span tag and just put it straight after each of these LIs. So I'm pressing Ctrl V to paste them in. Then I'm going to copy the closing span tag, so Ctrl C to copy. And on this second paragraph we see 3.5 ton towing. After that, close off your span tag. So we've got it around 3.5 ton towing. Down a bit further we've got the span tag, go where you want, then close it off. Okay, and the final bullet point here, 5-star safety, close it off after that. If I save that now and go and have a look, you can see we've got 4 subheadings now that stand out nicely. That DMAX page is now finished. Okay, it looks great. The home page, it's done as well, I think. If we have a look as we scroll down, it's perfect. The video should play. Yep, that looks good. So there's 2 pages fully done. We're up to the MUX page now, where we just need to put those span tags in again on each bullet point. So we've got a little subheading on each one. Okay, so go to your code, find your MUX page. Next to each list item, put the span tag in. Okay, take the closing tag and put it after the little subheading. So 7-seat comfort is there. Stick it in straight after that. Okay, so we've got our span tags around the little heading. Then it's just a copy and paste job. Put that span tag before each of the LIs. Oh, sorry, just after the LIs. And then copy the closing span tag and put it after the little subheading. So 3 ton towing is the second heading. Off-road adventure is the third heading. And then fuel efficient SUV is the fourth heading. Save that, test your MUX page, and you should see you've got the 4 headings in red like I do there. So that's another finished page. We've got 3 out of 4 pages done. Finally, we've got the contact page. Now on the contact page, what do we want to style up here? I think the top half looks great. It's just down in this section here where we want to style a little bit up with that span heading. So we might change address, sales opening hours, available at this dealership. We might change those to have the red. I might even change contact as well. Okay, so we've got 4 bits there to change into red. So over on the contact page, find the address. Okay, so it's inside those strong tags. Basically, you want to put the span before the word strong. Oops, that's the closing span tag, so I'll just have to delete that little thing. Okay, so span goes before the strong tag, and it goes after it as well. Alright, so we put span around the address line. If we save that, you should see the address stand out nice and red. Let's do the same for contact. So you can see contact down here. Let's put in the span tag at the start and the span tag at the end. And that will help us style up contact. Alright, after contact we've got the sales opening hours. So before the strong tags, put in the span. After the strong tag, close the span. And finally we've got available at this dealership down here with the strong tags. Do what we did before. Span goes before the word strong. Span goes after the word strong. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. We'll save it, test it. That looks a lot better. Okay, those subheadings standing out in red make it so much easier to read. Email links all good, the maps all good. We've got a finished website. Okay, 4 pages here, look fantastic. And you can see how much easier it is now to use a separate style sheet to style up your website. You only have to write your styling code once and it affects every page. Okay, so you don't have to just keep repeating yourself over and over again or doing a copy and paste job over and over again. Everything's just styled up in one hit. Alright, so make sure all your pages are saved, and hopefully you've got a working Isuzu Ute Australia website.